Hello, you're listening to Tony Slattery's Rambling Club, and you're most welcome.
Oh, hello. My name's Paul Carmichael.
And I'm Alan Lear.
And this is Tony Slattery's Rambling Club. Welcome once again. We're just heading up the garden path now, because the President said he would be in the garden. I can't see him anywhere. Alan, any sign?
Unless he's in the monumental fish pond with a straw in his mouth, I don't see him anywhere.
No.
Well, can't you hear some rustling?
What was that?
It was me saying, can't you hear some rustling?
Was that a voice coming through some rustling?
Yes, bingo.
Good God, it's Tony Slattery.
Hiding in the hedge.
That's right. Hello, listeners. It's Tony Slattery, and thank you for listening. Just to recap, I'm in a bush, and I have a couple of guests with me. They're not going to speak. One of them's Una Stubbs, who you'll know. Everyone knows Una Stubbs. That doesn't imply that she's some kind of street slut who gives her talent willy-nilly. No, I've met her. I think we might have done even, give us a clue, which I was on. Anyway, Una, you stay there. I've got work to do. Bye now. Bye, Una. Bye. Take good care. Don't take bad care. That's stupid. Bye, Una. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
So why are you hiding in a hedge?
Have you been promoted to privet councillor?
Yes. You're going to be shot later for that.
That's fair.
Privet councillor, yes. Ooh, but it's nice to see you both again.
It's lovely to see you. Well, Tony, can we help you out your hedge? And
thank you.
There we go. And should we make our way inside the shed?
I can think of several reasons why not, but I'm overcome with just an impulse to go with the flow.
Let's go with the flow into the shed. Well, here we are in the shed. So, Tony, are you ready to give the magic bingo machine a whirl and see where we end up this week?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Right, here we go.
Tony's enchanted bingo machine. A curious contraption of cogs, levers, and glowing buttons that hums with ominous energy. This machine generates 3 completely random numbers. These numbers are fed directly into the Dewey Decimal System, the arcane reference system by which books and their contents are categorized. In this way, the bingo machine conjures from thin air a topic of conversation so enthralling, so wildly unexpected, that it leaves the members of the Rambling Club both bewildered and vaguely excited. Thus, another evening is saved from the brink of boredom, thanks to Tony's marvellous, possibly haunted and entirely inexplicable bingo machine.
Well, here we are in the great outdoors, once again ready to begin our first ramble. And the numbers from our machine are
1, 4, 5.
1, 4, 5. And that means we are talking about sensationalism.
Ooh.
Sensationalism.
I'd like to start, please. When I first got into grammar school, and sensationalism came up on a word list. We were given a word list. We had to learn 12 words in a night. They were possibly complicated we'd never been exposed to these words before, like synecdoche, litotes, a transubstantiation, on that level. And one of them, in later in the week, and it had to be absolutely proper sensationalism, was sensationalism. And the priest had given you the definition. I can't remember the exact definition, but It was on the word list, and it is something which is intended to shock or deprave. It certainly contained that flavour and that context. When we're a bit older, in the next English class, is look at this, boys, pay attention. This is a copy of the News of the World, and it says, Diana Dawes reveals all. Well, she doesn't. That's sensationalism. She does not reveal all. It's just bloody crap about the next bloody crap film she's doing. So, when it says that is sensationalism, because you want to see her breasts and her private parts. I remember that. And so that's where sensationalism first struck in my mind. From that, retrieved solid memory. I don't know if it is remotely interesting.
No, it is. I mean, because he was quite right. I mean, you must have experienced that a lot as well with the headlines, and you could look at them and just think, well, no, that's just...
Yeah, problematically, when the headlines were sensationalist about me, they were all true.
Oh.
And so that's why if anyone had a kind of scoop on me about, I don't know, drinks or drugs, or whether I was in a clinic, engagement, saying, look, this is, we could sue for this, no win, no fee. And I read the copy and I said, I can't be asked because it's all true. And if I say no, then I'll just pour fire in it. Unless they say something like I've decapitated a child, then I will step in, yeah. But if it's only Slattery in clinic with drinks and booze, it's a cliche. One, I'm an actor. Two, I used to drink a lot, very much, and got into street drugs. And I remember doing, offering it, said they're going to run an article about me because someone in a private clinic, I thought this was wrong, had sold the tape of the interview by the psychiatrist with the psychiatrist's knowledge. They both got, and the porter both got a lot of loads and loads and loads and loads of money. It went through the courts. They were sacked. He was struck off. And the article, because it was things I remember I'd said, was verbatim. Now, I could have sued their asses off, but it went through I think I'm saying this for the first time. And then, after that, another newspaper said, so was all that true? I didn't mention. It was sub judice, in fact, at that time.
Yes, yeah. For those who aren't familiar, sub judice is a legal term meaning you can't discuss in public a matter which is currently on the subject of a court proceeding.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely right. But then, and rumours were circulating, look, I was an actor and I was on telly a lot, and I was a kind of celebrity, I suppose. And then another rag said, okay, Tony, we're going to give you, name your price. You tell it in your words exactly what happened. I said, yeah, okay, 2 conditions. I will tell the absolute truth. You can record it. I would like, before print goes out, not to have copy approval. If you state an opinion, that's an opinion. But if you state something that is not a fact, I will say that is not a fact. And also I want to say, you to say at the bottom, consider you offered me this amount of money. Tony has not been paid for this article, but has denoted substantial, which is all true. And to go back to one of the original points, this hard-bitten photographer, because I was just telling him some awful facts, eventually, instead of going, wow, was going, oh my, really? I said, yeah, really. And then after dinner, it became very emotional. He said, oh, you see, you talk about your father. My father, it's exactly the same. And one of my cousins, a very, very close, and he was, in the end, this hybrid father was in bits and tears. And I wasn't trying to do that. But the world of sensationalist journalism is still there.
And that was Jonathan Aitken's downfall, wasn't it? He sued the press over a story they printed that was absolutely true. And
That's right.
They proved it in court.
And there was Rupert Allinson MP, who was referred to as, I think, a
conniving
little shit in print. And that went to court, and it was decided, no, he was. And then I got news for you for weeks afterwards, would make sure they found a story so they could say Rupert Allinson, contemptible little shit.
Quite.
But it reminds me of what you were saying, Tony, there are two occasions from when I was very young. One was a photograph of Arthur Askey, and he was right towards the end of his life. And there's a photo of him, and he's in the hospital, and he's got the nurses around him, and he's smiling away. And I remember my granddad saying, he's got no legs. And then only last year, I saw the full run of photos taken by the photographer, and that's the only one he's smiling in. Every other one, the poor bugger looks knackered. But worse than that was I remember, and I can't remember which newspaper it was, so I won't guess, but there was a newspaper who offered various members of hospital staff £5,000 if they would sneak a camera in to take a photograph of Russell Harty whilst he was dying in his bed. And that was just... I mean, why... I don't know why you would want to see that, but it was
money.
just...
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. I haven't heard that. How disgusting. How utterly despicable.
There was Barry Cryer told a story about Arthur Askey because he I don't know what the disease was that caused him to lose his legs, but he lost one leg at a time. And
It was diabetic neuropathy.
Was it diabetic neuropathy?
It was.
Yeah, same as Charles Hawtrey. We covered that before. Yeah, but Barry Cryer said he went to see him in hospital just after he'd had his first leg off, and Arthur Askey was sitting up in bed laughing. And Barry Cryer said, "What are you laughing about?" And he showed him a telegram he got from his agent, which read, "Good news, have landed you lead role in Treasure Island." He visited him again after he'd had the second leg off, and he was sat up in bed laughing, and Barry Cryer said, "What are you laughing about?" And he showed him another agent's telegram, and this one just read, "Calm down, you've got the job."
Lovely.
Well, aren't we all... I mean, because we all perform, aren't we all sensationalists to an extent?
Well,
individually.
I think I would say a sensationalist is someone, I think, who, well, to put it down to its roots, does your performance, is it sensational? Are the audience on their feet all the time? Is it one critic who calls it sensational? Are you creating a sensation, or are you just here? I'm an exhibitionist. I'm a performer. Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. I don't know. Le Pétoman, I suppose, caused a sensation.
He was a sensation in his day.
But his gas never smelt.
No.
So Le Pétoman was a performer in France who was able to break wind and replicate musical instruments and doors opening and closing and this sort of thing. Played brilliantly by Leonard Rossiter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In the film Le Pétoman. It's one of the last films he made, and he is brilliant.
Wow.
Wonderful actor. Strange actor, but wonderful.
Yes, very strange.
I was reading a thing about Leonard Rossiter. I can't remember what it was, but he was in something with Paul McGann. And Leonard Rossiter was a very keen amateur sportsman and apparently an extremely good, very athletic man. Played a lot of tennis, a lot of squash, football, but he was quite conservative in his politics. And Paul McGann, being from Liverpool, wasn't. So they were in the cast of a show together, and they got stuck in the pub together, just the two of them. Found they didn't have a lot in common, not very much to talk about, and they sat there staring at each other. And then Rossiter said to him, "McGann, Paul McGann. Centre half and right back. And Paul McGann said, yeah, my dad and my brother. And Leonard Rossiter said, I've played against them. Strange.
Yeah.
It's a weird
That
little
is really
connection
lovely.
made.
Yeah.
I don't know why that makes me feel warm, but it does.
Yes.
A simple thing like that.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Our final ramble, and the numbers are
5, 3, 8.
5, 3, 8. 5, 3, 8. And if we just tap the top of our machine, it will tell us that the subject is 5, 3, 8. Magnetism. Magnetism. Right. Where to begin on magnetism?
Well, the Earth's magnetic pull is very strong. Jupiter is the planet that in every way keeps the solar system in order. There's also the sun. But I'd like to go on to people who are magnetic in personality. And that's you, Paul Carmichael. Alan, I'll come back to you on that one. I'm going to say the most magnetic person I ever met was covered in magnets. And that's why that was his party trick. And so if I had any buttons on my coat, they'd fly off. But in terms of physics, magnetism will be over to Alan.
I'm not sure if Jupiter is magnetic, because the reason the Earth's
I'm going to stop you right there. Of course it bloody is. It's got huge magnetic force.
It's got huge gravitic force, but isn't the reason the Earth's magnetic because we've got a rotating liquid iron core? Jupiter doesn't have an iron core, it's a gas giant.
That's right. Good. My point is, I didn't say it didn't have huge gravitational pull.
No.
I said it had a huge magnetic force, and so do many of its as yet still uncovered moons. So I didn't apply the theory of gravity to it at all.
No, but I'm not sure.
No, you did say,
what
I'm not
would
sure.
generate its magnetic field.
Well, physicists know that.
Well, it's Maxwell's field equations, isn't it? A moving.
No, go on.
A moving electrical charge. There are two of the four Maxwell field equations. One of them is that a moving electrical charge generates a magnetic field, and the other is that a moving magnetic field generates an electrical charge, which caused ructions when they were discovered, because the implication of that is that the reason light moves is because it bootstraps itself by being both a magnetic and an electrical field in motion simultaneously.
That's all very well. Can you explain Robert Maxwell?
Drowned crook.
That's only half the story. What about Ghislaine? No, we mustn't get into that area.
Legally tricky at the moment, I think.
Oh, of course, legally tricky. But I just mentioned the name Ghislaine. We're not in any trouble.
I did hear that Ghislaine was the best a man could get.
And it was.
It was.
The name of the yacht that Robert Maxwell fell off. Of course, it was named after
That's
his
right.
daughter.
We don't know whether he fell off it, but ocean levels rose that year. No, this is true, meteorologically, and we suspect that's because he fell in. Ghislaine, I think Ghislaine is also, this might be in my mind, but I wanted to be an astronomer when I was very young. I'm talking about 5 because I was preternaturally bright, and I had a little book under my cupboard where I grew up. This is true, but a very happy child, but left to my own devices. I was speaking to Robin Ince the other day about it. He said something like, very kindly, "Tony, you're very bright. When did you first start? What was your first book you remember reading?" And I said, "The Chrysalids, John Wyndham." And he said, "How old are you?" I said, "Well, about 4." And that's true. And that's not a boast or anything. But to get back to Ghislaine and Maxwell, I have this idea that Ghislaine is also, I'm really racking my brains here, there are so many names of so many stars and so many moons and so many galaxies, and I think Gillen is one of them, and that's really from the back of my mind.
It was I was a member for about 2 years when I was quite young of the Liverpool Astronomical Society, which used to meet in the museum. It probably still does meet on a Wednesday evening, and you could go right up to the top of the museum where you can see the observatory dome, and that would open up, and the telescope in there, I remember, is from 1880. It's the most beautiful thing, and first time I ever went up there, there's a chap called Gerard, I remember him, and he spent ages with adjusting with the telescope. And they said, right, come and have a look. And I sort of took a position, and I looked up, and I saw Jupiter clear as day with a dot in front of it. And he went, that's Callisto, one of its moons.
How lovely.
I think I was 14 when I saw that. And then I got taken out to Todmorden, which is about 50 miles away. And it's the most amazing, perfect place. It's just ancient burial mounds, but amongst it, one of the universities has built an observatory, and there's no light pollution. And that was the first time I ever saw the Milky Way. It was just beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
What a lovely story. I'd like to pick up on Callisto and move on to Callista Flockhart.
Oh, yes.
Who, the sister of Callisto, who's married to Harrison Ford. And of course, Dame Enda Barry Humphries famously interviewed her and said, that's a lovely name, Callista, because it sounds like an ointment that you might go into a chemist and say, and maybe a bit shy about it, can I have a tube of Callista, please? With applicator. Feminine applicator. So that's a tangential. Oh, you laughed at.
I mean, the advertising campaign for the ointment writes itself, Callista that blister.
I don't think it was talking about blisters, unless they were internal, in which case they would probably been herpetic.
Or frictional.
Well, we're back to magnetism. Magnetism cannot create friction.
No.
There's a theory which I want to put to both of you, and I'm really interested to see how you react to this, because I know where you both stand to an extent. Tony, have you heard of the stone tape theory?
Right! Now you've set me off.
Oh, God.
Right! I once saw on, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but you do have the habit of just, I am back in a high-rise council flat. We had television. It was in the 70s. There was one of the scariest plays which was filmed was something called The Stone Tape.
1972.
Oh, right, my God, that...
Nigel Neal?
Nigel Neal, who created Quatermass. That was him.
Oh, bloody hell. And suddenly I'm back there. And it was the scariest thing. Because, from retrieval, as a family, they're stuck in a house and it's frozen in time, and they talk about what's going on, and there are scary things like we're trapped, and then they get hammers to try and make out. And one of the scariest things to me as, I don't know, 12, 14-year-old, something like that, was that they were using hammers on the windows, which made no noise. And it was simple things like that. It's kind of like thinking of horror films and thinking of The Exorcist. Yes, the turning heads and the gunk and levitation, that's fine. What's the scariest thing is the malice and cunning and precocity of evil language and things which no one knows but the demon in Reagan knows, and that's why the book is so chilling. And sorry to go back to the same tape. It was simple things like that, but that was my memory. But you started with,
well, so the stone tape theory, and it does actually borrow from that play to a certain extent. Now then, in the play, in that you've got the haunting of a scream, and it stars Jane Asher and Michael Bryant, wonderful actors, and you've got a scream, and they're investigating this scream that comes from the top of a flight of stairs that now leads nowhere, but would have originally led to another floor. And the scream is actually, at one point towards the end, Jane Asher becomes terrified, runs to the top of the stairs and falls. So the scream was actually her that she was hearing from beforehand.
Well, that's quite Edvard Munch in a way,
Right.
and the people who sort of misinterpreted, and he was misinterpreted with that painting, The Scream, which keeps getting stolen, doesn't it? People break it. Yeah, they think, oh, the character is screaming, whereas in a compliment to what you're saying, in compliment with what you're saying, the scream is from the environment. And that's why the person who has his or her, it's not really clear.
It's not clear, no.
Has her mouth open. Everyone's like, oh, that's a big scream.
Yeah.
She's silent.
And then she's covering her ears. Or is that
Yes,
covering,
that's right.
I believe it's the scream of nature, isn't it? And
The environment, yes.
Yeah, I think it was actually inspired by the eruption of Krakatoa, which was famously so loud that it was heard halfway around the world.
Yeah.
And also in popular a reception of ideas, the loudest sound ever heard on Earth.
On Earth.
At least. I suppose the Big Bang, was the Big Bang loud?
Well, it would have taken place in a vacuum. No, would vacuums have existed?
There wouldn't even be so there would be it would be loud. No, because there was no matter for noise to propagate through, and no space for it to propagate.
So would it
through.
be silent,
So it would
or could you even say it would be silent? Because how can anything have any value
yeah.
such as that?
And there's
in
no
nothing?
time for it to happen in. So you're asking H.G. Wells' question from the Time Machine of whether an instantaneous cube, if you've got a cube that exists in 3 dimensions but doesn't exist in time, can it realistically be said to exist at all?
Yes.
Oh, but isn't that the same as when I leave the room? How do I know everything exists in that room I've just left?
That's solipsism, isn't it? Is that...
Well, one, yes, it is. Can we explore the connection between solipsism and magnetism?
Is there a connection? Do magnets cease to operate when you're not looking at them? Is that the
Yes.
Well, of
Right,
course they
right,
do. They're
right.
in a room, they're being magnets.
Okay.
They're picking up paper clips. It doesn't matter whether we're down the road in Sainsbury's, that's what they do. That's what magnets do.
Okay. Here we go then. Stone tape theory, right?
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Rocks do have a magnetic field, right?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
They contain quartz crystals, which are...
Right.
Electrical impulses can travel through them.
Now, my very basic memory notions of physics say that once energy is created, you can't destroy energy. Is that right? So, magnets can therefore presumably attract that energy in some way. That's the stone tape theory. That a release of energy that is big enough, climactic enough, could in some way be held magnetically within the stones that it happened near. And that is what a parapsychologist would say, that forget all the bollocks about headless ghosts and all that sort of thing. What you are seeing is something recorded in the magnetic.
Yeah.
The magnetics of this stone replaying.
Sure. But parapsychology is bollocks.
Yes, there is.
We all know that as well. It sounds there's no certifiable or certified agency for parapsychology. There's never been any evidence of the powers of ley lines. We don't know what stone circles were. Yes, they may well have traces of magnetic rock, but the idea that everything is linked and it's all supernatural must be taken with, I'd say, two really cheap bottles of Saxa all-purpose kitchen salt, which I want destroyed a potato dish with. Mind you, I let it cook, and I was in another room, so perhaps it wasn't there.
No, indeed not.
So I've not managed to convince you of the existence of ghosts with that theory then, Tony.
I'm afraid not.
We'll try again next time.
Why do you believe in ghosts?
I can believe in energy. being released.
That wasn't my question.
It depends what a ghost is.
A ghost is a silvery thing with a queen's head under its arm. It's 3 feet above the ground, and it's usually called the Grey Lady, and a nun is bricked up somewhere, and then in comes Roger Ancora, or whatever his name is, Derek Ancora, I think, and it's infrared, and lots of gullible people are prompted to shout, "I felt something cold on my back."
Isn't it ironic that Derek Ancora has gone so quiet since he died?
Well, there we go. That's us back in the shed for another week. And Tony, that was quite a ramble, wasn't it? We went all over the place there.
I thought it was lovely, and it did what it says on the tin. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope the listeners did too.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for listening. And we really do hope that you enjoyed this week's meeting of the Rambling Club.
As I'm sure you know by now, the club meets every Friday. But if you'd like to get in touch in the meantime, here's how you can find us and your fellow members.
So Tony's official website is at www.tonyslattery.com, and you can get in touch on the contact form on that website.
Regrettably, we are on Twitter. That's at Slattery Live. Please do use the hashtag TSRC to discuss any of this week's topics.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at the moment. You can find me there at Paul Carmichael V. However, we are now on Blue Sky as well. So if you are on Blue Sky, head to at Slattery Live and just look for Paul Carmichael. You'll find me somehow there.
Tony does also have a Facebook group. That's at www.facebook.com/groups/the Tony Slattery.
And he's on Instagram at Tony Slattery. It's Tony _ I'll do that again. I always fuck that one up. Every time. And I'll keep it in. And
I'll say it for you.
Go on.
Because it's gibberish to me.
Yes.
You can also find me at Tony_bonk.slattery giddilly King Elon Musk unstubbed ... No, where can they find me?
Tony _Slattery_official on Instagram.
See?
There you
Easy.
go. Easy.
And if people want to join the Rambling Club for themselves, do we have any idea how they do that?
Do you know what, Alan? I think that we do. The doors to the Rambling Club are open 24 hours a day. If you head to www.patreon.com/Slattery Live, then we'd be very happy to welcome you in there. There are all sorts of perks for members that you can find there.
So please do get in touch with us by any of those methods. We'd be delighted to hear from anyone other than ourselves.
We would. And you know what? Even if you don't want to do any of that, you could do us a little favour. Wherever you get your podcasts from, if you could go there and just write a 2-line review and give us a couple of stars, we would really, really appreciate that, because it helps us to spread the word and let other people know about the Rambling Club. So, Tony, you'll be back again to lead us in another ramble on Friday coming.
I'm taking over from Paul's tonality here and going into his persona. Could you ask me the question again and I'll show you?
Okay. So, Tony, will you be back to lead us in another ramble on Friday?
I certainly will, Paul.
So until then, it's a goodbye. It's a goodbye from me, Paul Carmichael. It's a goodbye from Mr. Alan Lear.
Goodbye.
And it's a goodbye from the president of the Rambling Club, Mr. Tony Slattery.
It's goodbye from me. Sleep well, sleep tight. May the winds of dawn blow softly round your dreaming hen. No, I see. Yes. If you have a dream, my point is.
You're cosseting these hens too much.
Look, I'm trying to round this up. Okay, keep your hands safe. In the meantime, till the next time, bye-bye.
You have been listening to Tony Slattery's Rambling Club with your host, the club president, Tony Slattery. He was accompanied by Stephen Fry as the voice of the bingo machine. Tony was assisted by Paul Carmichael and Alan Lear. The music was composed and performed by Michael Livesley and Andy Frizzell. Silly voices are by Michael Livesley, and the show's concept is by Paul Carmichael. Our producers are Stuart Morris and Ellen Dybing, and the show's series producer is Erica Lear. Our executive producer is Chris Castle, and the series executive producer is Mark Strickson. And now, before we go, here are the answers to last week's quiz questions. Question 1. Yes. Question 2. Dame Thora hired an Adolf Hitler, but using individual appliances. Question 3 was a play quote.
If it don't float down the Thames, don't put it in your mouth.
The correct answer was Love's Labar's Lost. Congratulations to all our winners. Tony Slattery's Rambling Club is a Fanfanital production.